Welcome to Bourbon School. I'm Lauren.
And I'm Brian.
And today we've been called out by Greg and Ben of the Bourbon Note to complete the Reddit challenge where we can only choose 5 bourbons.
So we spent the week compiling the data, tasting the bourbons, and choosing our 5 choices. So stay tuned for our results.
Okay, before we begin, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and ring the bell for notifications.
Perfect. So the Reddit challenge has been around for the better part of a year now. Mm-hmm. And basically, they have a list. You can keep 5 bourbons, and there's 5 different categories, and you have to pick one for each. And then those are the only 5 bourbons you're allowed to have. And it's made its way through all the big channels. And Greg and Ben did one last week.
Yep.
And shouted out us and Myron from the Bourbon Drop to do our own list. So we have our results here. So let's start with a daily drinker.
Okay. I chose Four Roses Small Batch for my daily drinker. It's 90 proof. Mm-hmm. It's got a nice long finish, and it's reasonably priced at $30 to $40. Mm-hmm. It's a great value for a daily drinker.
Yeah, it's a good one. Mm-hmm. And I knew you'd pick a Four Roses somewhere in here.
Yeah.
I went with, so daily drinker to me is something that it doesn't necessarily have to be a cheaper bottle. It just should be something that you know is going to.
Yeah, he's about to pick a more expensive bottle, you know.
Well, I think it just should be something that you can depend on, that you know, like if you can pick one bottle of bourbon to drink daily, this is one that you know is going to give you
all right.
a good
well, on my
experience every
budget,
time.
I got to stick to the Four Roses small batch.
Well, that's okay. I think the Four Roses is a great one. I'm not trying to be a bourbon
all right,
snob
fine.
here.
What'd you pick?
I picked Old Forester 1920. It is a more expensive bottle at about $65, but you know what you're getting every time you buy this bottle.
I think I'm just drinking more than you, maybe.
Maybe that's what it is.
My daily drinker is like, well, maybe you're just like
You're
having one glass.
You're going to go through it a little faster, maybe.
Probably.
Yeah.
I need to be more economical.
Yeah, I guess. I have like 2 pours. You and my wife, totally different story. But for the Old Forester, I think it's dependable. You know what you're going to get. It's got a higher proof point and a ton of flavor. So I don't think there's ever a time where I would have Old Forester and feel like I wasn't getting a good pour or wasn't going to have a good experience. So yeah. I think if I had to have just one daily drinker, I'd be pretty happy with that one.
All right.
All right, let's go on to our next category.
Okay, our next category is about impressing our guests.
Okay.
So I think if you're having a dinner party, let's say, your bourbon should not only be tasty and delicious, a little bit more expensive, but also have a good story behind it. Okay, so I picked Heaven's Door, Bob Dylan's bourbon. We talked about this in a previous video when we did our celebrity bourbons. It's also 90 proof, but it's been aged 8 years, so it's got a really great flavor profile. And it has a really cool story behind it. You mentioned that the gate is something he designed, and it's a really good bottle that I think you could introduce even, maybe some newer bourbon drinkers to this product and be pretty successful at it.
And it did really well with our celebrity bourbons.
It did.
All right. I'm going to go with Knob Creek 12-year. And I think this is a really nice bourbon. It will impress your guests because it's got some age on it. You're presenting them with a 12-year bourbon. They know the name Knob Creek.
Yes.
It's generally a crowd pleaser. And this, has all that flavor and deliciousness of a Knob Creek. And then it adds that age to it. You get the oak, but it is so smooth, and the proof point is great. 100 points, 100 proof is perfect. It's not going to burn your face off, but it's proofy enough where it's got some flavor to it. And I think that one is, your guests will be real happy with that one, and feel like you're serving them up a bottle of something way more expensive than what it is.
Treating them good.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, next up.
All right, we've got our mixers next up.
Oh, okay.
All right, so I chose Maker's Mark mostly because I think in a mixer you want something that's a little bit proofier, but also not too expensive, because you're not going to taste the full profile anyway. So this is great with, I like it with a Diet Coke mixer,
Okay.
maybe a little
All
bit
right.
of lime. Actually, usually I just drink it straight.
Right.
But I like Maker's Mark.
Yeah.
So it's reliable. It's got the sweetness, but also a little bit of the burn of a bourbon that you want.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So it mixes really well with anything that you could pull.
Yeah, you can't go wrong.
No.
You can't go wrong. All right, for my mixer, I agree with you on the proof. So I went with, and you probably know this already if you've watched this channel, Old Forester Signature 100.
Good pick.
Tons of flavor, 100 proof, so it'll stand up to anything you mix it with. It's $28 for that bottle right there, which is, I think, a liter. And you don't feel bad about mixing it because you didn't spend a ton of money on it. And you could also, if you wanted to drink it on its own, you could. But I think it's an ideal mixer because it holds that flavor. It's going to come through with whatever you mix it on. And
What do you like to mix with?
I'll make a Manhattan with that all day.
Of
Yeah.
course. I should have known that.
I'm not, mixing the whiskey with the Coke brings me back to college. And that's
like
a hard
screwdrivers
one
for
for me.
me, I
Yeah.
Yeah, tequila. I got a list.
So this one for me is mostly Manhattans or maybe a paper plane, and make a lot of those in the summer. So it's just a nice one to mix. And like I said, it's economical enough where you don't feel bad about mixing it.
All right, we're on to our Friday night.
Friday night.
Friday night. All right, you got to pass me over the Old Forester.
Oh,
for this one.
right. Here you go. Wait, we're going to do it secretly here. Like the Hollywood magic right there.
I'm too clumsy for this.
How did it
I'm
get
gonna-
over
I'm
there?
gonna drop it.
Holy smokes.
All right, so Brian and I did share one of our picks. His daily drinker was our Old Forester 1920, but this was my Friday night because I think on a Friday, I don't know about you, but I'm exhausted, tired of talking, and I just want to relax. And this one is a little bit more expensive, but I could talk forever about this. I think we've said enough.
We have talked
We've
forever
talked a lot
about Old
about it.
Forester. We're practically Sims at this point.
Yes, it's a premium taste. It's consistent, and it's just a nice reward to look forward to on a Friday.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. So for me, very similar thought process behind it. You know, so it's the end of the work week. You want something like comforting. You can go a little higher in your proof because you're home for Friday night.
Oh, yeah.
You're just kind of relaxing at home. And so for me, a comforting pour, a lot of flavor, higher proof, and it's just going to make you feel nice and warm. I went with Penelope Barrel Strength Toasted. Now, this one can vary bottle to bottle, but this one happens to be a heavy toast, and it comes in at 116 proof, so it's actually only a proof point higher than the 1920. But
You want to go with something a little higher on a Friday.
Yes, for sure.
Let loose a little bit.
Yes. And so the Penelope for me is a great one on Friday night where you're just kind of sinking into the couch and maybe throwing on a movie and sipping on a higher proof whiskey. That's the one for me.
Okay.
All right.
Our last one is our special
occasion. So this is a bourbon you're saving for a special occasion. It could be as grand as a wedding, or it could be just maybe your birthday or whatever it might be. But just you pull this one out on special occasions.
Right. And actually, mine's perfect for today because a family member just had a baby called Penelope today.
Oh, get out of here.
7 pounds, 7 ounces, Penelope. I picked the Architect.
It's a nice pick.
Yes. And I think I'm going to give this bottle to them.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, that's excellent.
Yeah. Babies they don't need gifts. Moms
No.
and dads need gifts,
And
right?
what better gift for new parents than a bottle of bourbon?
Okay, so this is really oak forward. It's at 104 proof. It's really tasty, and I just love everything about it. I think that even maybe people who aren't used to bourbon would still enjoy it. And it also it's not too expensive. It comes in at about $60 to $65, which is, of course, our aim is to find those reasonably priced, easier to find bottles.
Yeah.
What did you pick?
I went with, and Greg, I just want you to know, I had this in my head a long time. I did not copy you. but we do have the same one. I went with the Jack Daniel's single barrel proof.
Oh, that's a good one.
It is. It really is. And the reason I picked this one is it's obviously it's a special bottle. It's a real high proof, but it's got such an amazing flavor. You know, we talked about in our Jack Daniel's video how it's so like at 130 proof, you would never guess it. It's smooth as heck, and it's just got such nice, sweet flavor. The other thing about this one is, and your mileage may vary, but around here, it's getting tougher to find. So to me, that is a more special bottle because I want to savor it a little bit. I want to hold on to it a little bit. I don't want to drink this every day as a daily drinker. The Old Forester 1920, I can go to either store in this little town and find it. This one, I had to go to Pennsylvania to find this one.
Even the bottle looks special, I would say.
Yeah, and and I've heard people say anything Jack that comes in this bottle, grab it, because they make really good stuff, and those bottles are special. But I think it's just a really nice pour, and when you're having a special occasion, I think this is one that you'll like kind of sip and you'll savor what's happening around you and just get a good feeling. And I like that bottle. So that's the one I would say is my special occasion. So there you have it. There is our 5 bourbons we would keep for the Reddit challenge. So let us know below in the comments, what do you think of our choices and what are your choices? If you had to keep only 5 bourbons, what would be your picks?
All right, and before we go, Brian,
Yes.
we have to challenge some individuals here.
All right.
So I'm going to challenge Bobby from Bad Axe Bourbon to do the Reddit challenge.
All right.
You are?
I'm going to go for Stacy at 4 Leaf Whiskey because I would love to see an Irish whiskey version of this. So do your best.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and ring the bell for notifications.
And cheers, everybody.
Cheers. Welcome to Bourbon School. I'm Lauren.
And I'm Brian.
And today we're